So stepping through the doorway that you'd opened with one of the blaze keys that you'd received while in Westgate, which for us was a while ago, but for your characters was only about 9 days. So it's not been terribly long that you were in Suzail, but you were in Westgate for even less time. So after the run-in you'd had with Anya's aunt at the Society for Stalwart Adventurers in Suzail, you are returning to Westgate so that you can, presumably, have access to Lelianor's teleportation network to go wherever you wish to be that Waterdeep, Baldur's Gate, wherever else her portals might lead, although you're not sure on the specifics of where that might be. So you're returning to Westgate, specifically to Blaze's house, this old, abandoned inn, kind of this secret. A century ago, more than 100 years ago, it used to be this secret inn, plain on the outside, so that people in the city didn't think anything of it. But on the inside, it was various doorways led to other worlds, other planes of existence, and it was kind of a hub, an inn, an overnight stay for travelers in the multiverse, in the physical realms. But it's the teleportation portals and networks had been broken, the portals had been sealed, but something had reactivated them, and that magic was kind of sending Lelianor's teleportation network in Aurora's Emporium kind of haywire, which when you first arrived in Westgate sent you all flying to different ends of the city, trapping you in various different situations, including Jade, Halari, and your horses, and other things that came through with you. In West, so you can spend as much time in Westgate as you like. You might want to visit the Quivering Thumb, the big arena. Since in-game it really hasn't been long. You don't think, even though you bought in as a shareholder, you don't think you'll be able to receive any payments just yet, because you kind of just left. So there's probably nothing waiting for you. But if you wanted to participate in a fight, if anyone's interested in that, you think that might be something that could be arranged. Samara, if you want, there's no real reason to, but if you want, you could try and find Lara Thylar. You could look into if the members of the Nine Golden Swords survived the interaction with the Kraken, but that seems unlikely. Or you can just try and head straight out to wherever you'd like to be next. So as each of you kind of step forward out of the Society of the Stalwart Adventurers through this doorway that previously had just led to a storage closet, but during the fight you'd inserted the blaze key into the keyhole, turned it, and when the door opened, on the other side you could see the interior of Blaze House in Westgate. As each of you step through, saying goodbye to Jasper, and the kerfuffle you've gotten into there, your vision washes white. You almost black out, but it doesn't feel... You don't feel a threat. You don't feel, if you blacked out because of exhaustion or because you got hit too hard in the head, there would be adrenaline, there would be, you would feel a threat, you'd feel your fight or flight maybe, but this kind of feels like a pleasing at ease as your vision fades white. And as you all kind of regain your senses, you don't find yourself in Blaze House. You look around, you don't recognize the interior. Could you all make perception checks? Eartha?
21.
30. Samara, did you say 21?
Yep.
And Anya?
I got 8.
8. Oof. So Anya, you're a little bit more concerned than the other two. You're a bit more like looking around quickly, like, where are we? And maybe fair enough, considering a lot of personal problems have recently boiled up, considering half an hour ago you were in a death match with your auntie and you watched your cousin die after killing your other cousin 2 days ago. So, your mind is elsewhere as you're suddenly in a new and unknown area. Samura and Eartha, but Eartha, you get a touch more. Samura and Eartha, you see, and Anya, you see this as well, just, you're a bit more panicked, in a different state of mind. Samura and Eartha, you're in a dining room, it looks like, but not like a long room, with like a long table or anything like that. Just a room with several different. It almost looks like a modest. It looks like a mansion's second dining room, not the main dining room where they'd have a party. Maybe like the second dining room where they'd have a little gathering off to the side. There are just little tables around you, piled high with food. Lots of different foods, nearly anything you could imagine: fruits, meats, vegetables, even pastries, pies, things like that. There are piles of food on these tables, and that mansion aesthetic is these tables are like a dark oak with finely crafted legs, and there is a deep red carpet with light yellow patterning on it, and the walls are also a dark wood that fades into wallpaper at the top. There is a big window, although the curtains are drawn, and there's light coming through, but like the curtains are drawn, and there's a big fireplace. And Samurai, you're kind of examining the room a bit, but Eartha, you notice there is an individual standing, one arm on the lip of the fireplace, on like the kind of the slate of the top of the fireplace, and then just warming his hand with the other one. You see kind of a twinkle of his hands, and the fire roars a bit more fiercely. Clearly some magical interference on his part. He's wearing clothes that match the surroundings. He's wearing like the fine trappings of a rich man. He has he's got pale-ish skin, a little bit of color, kind of slicked back dark hair, not too long, probably just like average length hair, but the style he wears it in is just slicked back. Quite angular features, though. He's fairly handsome, but he's not super young. Maybe like a handsome, like early 40s. He's like not quite a silver fox yet, but a good-looking middle-aged man in very nice clothes. Kind of a one of those those fanciful like white ruffles that kind of covers emerges from the shirt, comes out of the neck like the lip of his dress shirt, and then like dark overclothes. As he just warms one of his hands, as you think he's warming one of his hands by the fire, but you see the way he moves his fingers, that he's manipulating the fire as it grows brighter, as he brings it to warm the room. He doesn't say anything, but you are each standing. There are seats at these tables with food, but you are each standing. And there are also, at these tables, there are wooden seats, there are dining room chairs, but there are also more comfortable seating arrangements. There are leather armchairs, again, some darker than others, but like a tan and a darker brown, and there are footstools also made of leather that you can sit on if you wish. But you are all standing in various positions around this room. You don't see a door. Which, not that you can currently see.
Right, cool. Now I know he's there. Dispel magic on him.
Okay.
So, do you want me to read it out?
Yeah.
Choose one creature, object, or magical field, or magical effect within range, which I choose him. It's 120 feet. I imagine he's close enough. Any spell of third level or lower just ends on the target, and for each spell of 4th level or higher, I have to make a check, and the DC is 10 plus the spell's level. And the check I use is my spellcasting ability modifier I add to the roll.
I think the spell ends. So your wizardly intuition, Eartha's religious commentary, and your wizardly intuition kicks in, and you immediately outreach your hand towards this individual, casting Dispel Magic, and for a minute you think it has no effect. For a moment you think it has no effect, until, perhaps as you expected, you see his hair and his clothes remain the same, but there are changes elsewhere as his skin turns a deep red coloration. His 2 prominent horns curl from the front of his forehead, and 2 leathery wings beat from his back. And for a minute, this individual not looking at you, the clothes are quite different, but looks very similar to Damon, the Cambion you'd met. You see, he's not. He with the hand he'd kind of been stoking the fire with. He kind of looks at the hand, turns it over, palm to back, looks at you over his shoulder. We were going to get there. And he kind of brushes his hand on his clothes before he turns around, pulls an armchair slightly closer, takes a seat, and curls one leg over the other. Welcome to the House of Hope. Please take a seat. If you're hungry, there is food.
Dispel magic on the food. Just on the table.
Sure.
Nothing. Okay, cool. Well, that's my glowstone, guys. So I can't dispel magic anymore.
I insist you take a seat. Your legs will get tired.
I want to quickly. Somewhere I would know this, so it makes sense.
Sure. Did you say something, Jess? Sorry, everything kind of happened at once.
Oh no, I was just saying I have Dispel Magic as well. So
Cool.
Yeah, I want to disguise self as him and sit at the exact opposite seat on the table, in like the same position. And just,
Which version?
the one before I dispel magic him, like his disguise self version. Yeah.
So Samura, your clothes and figure shift as you become this fairly handsome, early 40s looking human male, and your clothes become the same as the ones he's currently wearing, these nice black garbs with yellow trimmings and white accents. He gives like a polite chuckle and a nod, not really, doesn't seem offended, just...
I'll sit down, copy his pose and go, well,
sure.
From one handsome man to another, why'd you bring us here?
I prefer to talk business when everyone is sitting.
I'll just grab something to eat. I know the food's not fake, so I'll just start eating.
He looks at Eartha, he looks at Anya.
on down then.
Sure. Do you just sit at one of the normal dining chairs, Anya?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very well. My name is Raphael. It's a pleasure to meet you. Pardon? It's a, it would not be in my best interest, no. You may call me Raphael. Now, usually, when I invite individuals such as yourselves to this, my House of Hope, it is in return for something they desperately need, and I get, there isn't a pretty way of saying it, ownership of their soul to be used at my leisure. But you three are in a interesting position to help me with something, and in return, I am willing to... And he kind of reaches out for some grapes on the table, and his long, devilish nails snap the stem, and he... You are uniquely positioned to help me with something, and in return, I'm willing to be a bit more vague. If you agree to help me, I'm willing to owe you a favor of your choice that is within my power. Or we can go down the more usual route that I do with my other clients, but that's more about their souls. This is more about the position you're in.
And that favour would be...
Well, and he kind of gestures a hand towards Anya. I am in need of something that is currently within the College of New Olam in Waterdeep, and you have a student of that college with you here, and I've been hearing rumblings of your recent exploits. So, in my expert opinion, you three are in a good position to get the job I need done doing. Having Miss Enduran here with you. That is... Well, the College of New Olam is named after a very powerful magical instrument, not an artifact. There are several of them in existence, although they are very, very, very rare, and there is at least one at the College of New Olam. It is an Olam harp, which is also why the college's symbol is the harp. It is in the private collections of the college, and I have an interested buyer, and you are the contractors I wish to hire to get the job done. Then you say no.
Can I just quickly ask,
He kind of... He just raises a finger quickly, Samara, and says, "Of course, you may ask anything you wish, but..." And then his eyes linger on Anya for a second. "If you say no, perhaps I go to someone else who takes a more brute force approach to the college. Maybe people die, maybe people get hurt. Who's to say?" And then he gestures to you, Samara.
My spells. I'm sure you know plenty about me to know that I have magic. I know the spell magic worked on you. Is that just because you allowed it, or am I able to just cast what I want? Because I'd like to have a chat with somebody else for a moment.
Your dispel magic works because you are a gifted practitioner. You may contact whomever you wish.
Cool. Yeah, I'll can I just drop the disguise self and put my feet up on the table?
Sure.
And I'll cast Sending to Storm Scourge. I'll dip in a Averond accent. I'll ask to clarify the thing you want us to get was a magical harp. I didn't hear that wrong.
Yes, it is a. So, in terms of in game terms, there is a magic item called Instrument of the Bards, and depending what rarity it is, depends on which the instrument is. So there is, rare. There's uncommon, common, uncommon, rare, very rare, legendary. And then depending on which of those rarities it is, it's a different one of these instruments. The Olaman harp is the legendary variant of the instrument of the bards item. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I'll send in everyone Dax and I'll say Devil wants. Wow. Okay. I've already mind blanked on what the item was again.
harp.
Yeah. Devil wants magical harp from Anya's college, which I presume you'll know which one that is. In return, owes us favour. Doesn't sound the best, but what do you think? Seems like very bad. We'll see if he gets back to me.
Okay. You get a response after a few moments. I shouldn't have to tell you not to sell your soul to a devil. If there's no fine print, I don't see the harm, but if there is, don't.
Cool. Yeah, right. I'll look back to the devil and I'll go contracts. You know how it usually goes. I'm assuming you're going to be handing us one.
Yes.
Can I have it now?
Well, we haven't talked terms yet.
Well, I mean, you've asked what you want, and you've said what you'll give, so surely we can read the contract ourselves.
As he moves his hand, a rolled up parchment appears in his hand, and he breaks the seal and unfurls it. I can make amendments quickly. Are you saying you don't want to agree on the terms now? Are you saying you would like time to think about this favor?
Well, I can't speak for my friends here, but personally, I would just like to have a read of it now. I'll just sit here in this room and have a read of it.
He moves his right hand, and the feathered quill disappears, and he moves his thumb, and the parchment rolls back up, and he tosses it towards you, Samurai, and it bounces down the table before rolling in front of you.
I'll just look at the other two. I'm not alone in this decision. These want to come have a look too. I trust us. I'm not too keen either, but we may as well read it.
You put the nail of one of your talons underneath the wax seal, break it, and unfurl it. Make an... Who's reading it? Is it Aether and Samurai? Anya, are you reading it as well, or...?
No.
No worries. Aether, are you reading it, or is it just Samurai who's reading it properly? Okay. Then I'd like to... What are your intentions in reading it? What are you looking for? Are you looking for, like, loopholes, or, like, tricks, or are you looking for information? Okay, and Samurai?
I want to look for, like, the clearly written objectives. Like, not like, you know, if it says go get the loot, I don't care about, like, it's go get the loot, and go do this, and go do this. I don't care about how, I just care about, like, this is the objective. What does it require me to do at minimum?
Yeah, both of you make intelligence checks.
19, I believe.
19?
Yeah, 19.
2 19s, okay. You are surprised to find you don't find any tricky wording that you sniff out. Nothing strikes you as, oh, that's worded doubly, there's some trickery happening here. You're surprised to find a lack of that. You get the sense that usually the deal with devils is when they ask you to make a bargain with them, it is they will give you something, you will give them your soul. This is quite an unusual deal from what you know, because that isn't the deal here. He's not asking for your soul. It seems for some other individual or for himself, you don't know. For some reason, he wants this item, and because of who happens to be in your party, and because generally you are pretty hardy, he's come to you as contractors to get that done, so he doesn't have to do it himself. So this is kind of less of like a devil's contract and more of a contract.
Like a rich man's contract.
It's a contract to support a different devil's contract.
Yeah. Can I try and also find anything written about whether the contract, like if we sign this now, but we don't fulfill any part of it, what happens then?
Okay. Just so I don't forget, to answer your first thing, the clearly stated objectives of the contract are that you will acquire a Olaman harp, very, very rare. It is the rarest kind of magic item, except for those magic items that are entirely unique. There's one in the universe, This is like, this is like, except for being like a artifact of historical, mythical proportions, this is about as rare as a thing you can get, but it is not unique. There are several of them, but they are very, very rare, very, very expensive collector's items. It doesn't say you need to steal it. It doesn't even say you need the one that is currently in the College of New Olam. All it says is he is contracting you to acquire an Olaman harp and give it to someone called Corilla Hearthflame in Waterdeep. So whether you could go and seek a different Olaman harp, you could look for leads on a different one elsewhere.
Is there a time restriction?
You don't see a time restriction in the contract. You could steal it, you could try and buy it, you could try and come to some other sort of deal for it. All it says is that you must acquire an Olaman harp and give it to Corilla Hearthflame in Waterdeep on behalf of who is, you presume, some individual who will be acting on behalf of Raphael, this Cambion. And you do notice at the end of the contract, not a hard time constraint, but it seems all of his contracts are year dated, and because of the current time of the year, it is expected that it would be finished within this year. And in terms of what happens if you don't uphold your end of the bargain, there is subtext of forfeiture of one's soul, but there is no trickery within the bulk of the there is no trickery within the bulk of the contract that like works its way into that. It is strictly, if you do not acquire it, if you do not hand it off, if you don't intend to uphold your end of the bargain, then your soul will be forfeited to Raphael.
Right. I'll turn to Earth, since he's the one who read it with me. I'll go ahead. Well then, what do you think? No.
That is a good question. My power is not without its limits, but I have friends in high places, and in lots of high places, and my power is easily higher than yours, so it really depends on the request. If you submit your request and I cannot fulfill it, I will tell you that up front, and you can return to me with a different request. He kind of snaps his fingers, and the contract reappears from your end of the table in his hands, and he makes an amendment to suggest that he will not try. It's not like a genie where if like, oh, I wish it wasn't raining, he's gonna like try and steal like the one request. No, he makes a quick amendment so that if you make a request and he cannot fulfill it, he will notify you of that, and you can resubmit a different request.
Yeah. I must admit, it's the.
Quest.
Yeah,
Go on, Jess.
Anya?
Is there anything? I don't know whether this exists, but is there anything like invisible ink, anything like that?
Sure, you can get stuff like that, yeah.
Would I be able to have a look over the contract and use my see invisibility just in case?
Sure.
Okay.
Anya, you approach, so like Samura is sitting at the end of the table and Eartha is kind of standing behind him, leaning over his right shoulder, reading this contract along with him. And Anya, you approach from the other side and you kind of tap the side of your head, casting see invisibility, and your eyes wash white with a hint of like opalescence, a hint of purple, mixing in those cloudy white eyes. And you scan the document. The document underneath the writing in common in this black ink is like this burning red infernal language. You don't know if this is... do you speak infernal?
No.
No, I don't think so.
I have comprehend languages, if that helps.
If you like, you can. Does comprehend languages allow you to read languages or hear?
I'm trying to find... Yes, you also understand any written language that you see.
Cool. So you see this devilish script, this infernal language in large lettering that kind of scrolls down the paper. Very hard, angular letters, very ugly, violent-looking language, and it burns red. Almost like it's not red ink, like it is written in fire, invisible fire. And you, kind of taking a step back, you lower the see invisibility so your eyes turn back to normal, and you kind of, I think comprehend languages is through your violin, I think. So you take your bow and you quickly screech the strings of your violin with the bow, play a quick melody as you cast comprehend languages. This script, this devilish script, this infernal language, is essentially saying, it's kind of like bylaws. It's kind of describing the punishment of... It's kind of this magical binding that the devil must uphold their part of the contract. So, like, the bit in common, the bit in ink is for you, and this bit is for Raphael. This is the thing that compels him to do the same. So you can see at the bottom he has signed it on one side, and there is room for the three of you to sign it as well.
But if he doesn't uphold his end of the bargain, then what exactly happens to him?
I didn't explain this properly. So the burning letters that you saw at Sea Invisibility, they are essentially like magic runes that mean he cannot falter on his end. He is magically compelled to, once he's signed the contract, once you have signed the contract, he has signed the contract and the bargain has been made, he is magically compelled to fulfill his end of the bargain. So it seems pretty above board. Obviously none of you are keen to, trust the devil right off the bat, but you don't think he's angling. You don't think he's really angling for anything else. He just kind of wants you to do a job, and because recently you guys have been making some waves and one of you happens to have an in with the College of New Olam, you think he's just kind of selected you as as contractors. He's not really angling for much deeper. You don't know that, but that's what you get from what you can see.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
I'll turn to Eartha and I'll say, I'll just say it to the room. My only worry here is that obviously, if we get caught, then... Well, two worries. If we get caught, then Anya's got some issues, and should we do it then before or after Anya manages to present her piece, or even after that point, we have stuff like a wedding to attend. Like, the time seems quite drastic. I think maybe the end of the next year would be more appropriate for our party.
He looks puzzled, and he's like, oh, and he kind of clicks his fingers, and the contract reappears, and you see him scratch out, that is a mistake. I need this done quickly, within the next 10 days. And he amends the date at the bottom, scratches it up.
I'll look at Eartha. Wait until what he says.
He kind of waves his hands around like a teacher trying to get your attention. I'm hiring you to do that. Then there's a reason I'm not marching in there and doing this myself. A, I would kill them all, and I assume you would rather them not be dead. I could have one of my warlocks do it. One of my thralls, Corilla, is currently in Waterdeep, but she is otherwise concerned, and I thought it would be best to have her play an assisting role in case she again kills everyone, and this could be the easiest way it is done. The deal is that you will fulfill the job. You will do the recon, you will do the work, and I will uphold my end of the bargain. I will tell you what I know, but I don't know where it is. All I know is that the Olam and Olam and Harp is in the College of New Olam. I don't care how you get it. Steal it, buy it, bargain for it. Perhaps Miss Enderon could do her show to get everyone out of the school so you two can steal it. I don't care. But I just need it given to Corilla within... ideally by the end of this month.
Let me get this straight. You want me, a student of this college, to steal an item from the college I'm attending?
Do you have friends there?
Yes, I do.
Would you prefer I kill them?
No, but I don't ideally
we have a
to
deal.
steal something from the college I'm attending.
Well, you don't have to. When I said it, I said you play a show, they steal it. But you don't have to do that. And his eyes dart down towards Eartha's belt. You could buy it. I know you're quite wealthy. You could make some other sort of arrangement for it, like our arrangement. You give us this, we'll do this. I don't know anyone there. I'd kill them if I did. So, do you have any other questions?
What does this Corilla want with the harp? If
Well,
we're
she doesn't
going,
want it. I want it. She
well,
works.
why do you want it?
He
If we're
glances down
going
at the
to steal
contract.
this item, we need to know why you want it.
He taps on the contract. No, you don't. But make a persuasion check, Anya.
Okay. I mean, I have 16 persuasion, so...
Yeah. It's pretty much anything but a natural 1, and you'll be fine.
21.
21? Are you all going to be less irritating if I'm more transparent? Is that what's happening here? Fine.
I'm always irritating, but these two maybe.
So I've heard. It's nothing too macabre. I made a similar deal with someone else, and I'm hiring you to do the work so I can hand it over to them.
So, what I'm hearing is, if we do this for you, obviously we get some good things, and then you get to take somebody else's soul. Somebody who's desperate, getting a very powerful magic item, and could do godforsaken what with it.
Samurai, make an intelligence check. I'll give you advantage because of Anya being in your party.
18.
8.
I mean, it seems like it's
Because you rolled an 18, and because you know Anya, I'm just going to tell you what it does. So let me just find it quickly.
If it's legendary, it's gonna be something bad. But like, it doesn't have to be strictly negative thing. But I feel like there'll be a negative use it could be ruled in for. Like,
okay.
I want to do the job, to be honest.
An instrument of the bards is an exquisite example of its kind, superior to an ordinary instrument in every way. 7 types of these instruments exist, each named after a legendary bard college. The following table lists the spells common to all instruments, as well as the spells specific to each one and its rarity. A creature that attempts to play the instrument without being attuned to it must succeed on a DC 15 Wisdom saving throw or take 2d4 psychic damage. You can use an action to play the instrument and cast one of its spells. Once the instrument has been used to cast a spell, it can't be used to cast that spell until the next dawn. The spells use your spellcasting ability and spell save DC. When you use the instrument to cast a spell that causes targets to become charmed, on a failed save, the targets have disadvantage on the saving throw. This effect applies whether you're using the instrument as the source of the spell or as a spellcasting focus. So, all instruments have the following spells: Fly, Invisibility, Levitate, Protection from Evil and Good. Then the Olaman Harp also has Confusion, Control Weather, and Firestorm.
Yeah, seems heavy.
So that's what you know. You know, just based on like things you've heard from Anya, things you know in general about magic items, that you know roughly what the Olaman Harp is reputed to be capable of. It's probably on the weaker end of legendary items.
Yeah.
Another legendary, I believe your Ion Stone is a legendary item.
I think it's the one down.
Right. So, you know, there is a legendary variant of the Ion Stone, I think.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, it's not world-ending by any means. It's just it's more of a collector's piece, really.
Right. Eva, how long have we got until your brother's wedding?
I'm quickly pulling up the calendar.
I believe we have time to do the job.
You've got 10, 20, 30, 40. You've got 44 days until...
Yeah. And we want this done within 10 days, was it?
So it is currently the 6th of Tarsak. Every month has 30 days. He would kind of like it done by the end of Tarsak.
Yeah,
so with the next 24 days.
Yeah. So we'd have to finish it beforehand. I'll openly say at the room, I'm rather interested in the job, actually, but I do truly think this is Anya's decision. It's on you, Anya. Yeah, it's on you.
Hey,
Your call.
I can have it done by tomorrow if I do it myself. This is me being kind.
The pros and cons are out there, so... Yeah, it's like a million. It's something dumb.
hey, Bradley, where's your coin?
It is currently indisposed because it's
Oh, for God's sake.
but I can just get a real coin.
Okay, get a real coin. Because I don't want to have to make this decision, because either way, it's bad.
So Anya, you want me to flip a coin, yeah?
Yes, please.
What heads for?
Head for getting it, tails for not.
Okay. Tails.
Okay.
So, time to go defend the college.
Oh god. Okay.
What is your decision?
We've decided not to accept your offer.
You see his left eye kind of twitches slightly. Very well. He kind of looks down at the table, kind of scratching it with his index finger. He looks back up. Suppose I'll see you all soon. You find yourself in the empty interior of Blaze House. The looks slightly different. It looks like it's currently in the process of being renovated. It looks clean. There isn't as much dust and cobwebs. All the furniture is gone. The tables, chairs. The only thing that currently remains is the rims of the portals from which you presumably came through, but now you're just kind of standing in different corners of the room as you kind of rematerialize or wake up or whatever that was, and you kind of look around and yeah, you're in the empty interior of Blaze House.
Can I do an insight? I know it's after the fact, but can I do an insight check on whether I believe the devil really could go and just wipe out the entire college?
Sure, make an insight check.
Can I tell you what I believe and like just pretend it's what Samara believes, and you can tell me if if I'd be confident or not in my inclination.
Mm-hmm.
I believe I've dropped a d20. I believe that no devil's nice enough to offer to save your own friends. There's a reason he's got us, and it's because he does not maybe not need us, but he needs somebody. I don't actually believe. I think there's something there stopping him from wanting to do it himself. Right, I'll roll my
Make a insight check.
let me get my
You also said, Corella would be able to go herself, but she's got other priorities, and I was thinking, well, why can't she go herself if she's the one that needs it?
I got a 10.
10. It's hard to say. Because you're quite... What's your intelligence modifier?
It's a +5. The saving throws are +8.
Yeah, you're a very intelligent individual. So, you think it's very unlikely he's gonna show up there himself on the off chance that... so Anya will be able to tell you, the College of New Olam is on Mount Waterdeep. So, like, the castle of Waterdeep is on top of this huge mountain in the middle of the city, and there is this, like, incredible walkway that, like, spirals up the mountain, like this beautiful scenic, and the college is what was it used to be 2 villas, 2 mansions that were gifted to the college, and now the college is like these 2 huge mansions and this big outdoor amphitheater on the walk up to the castle. So it's in like a very visible part of the city, and Waterdeep is already Waterdeep is covered in these walking statues, these huge colossal stone statues that are littered throughout the city, and like rumor says at various times they've come to life and blah blah blah. Even some of them have been like hollowed and mined into, and there's like inns and taverns inside the statue's legs and stuff like that. You think it's quite unlikely he would show up there himself, just because Waterdeep is a very big city, and the College of New Olam is the reason it's named after the Olam harp is because the Olam harp is the most powerful of the bardic instruments, and the College of New Olam is the most accomplished of all the bardic colleges. So they're already pretty powerful on their own. But then, clerics or paladins from one of the hundreds of temples in Waterdeep could be there in minutes. The Griffin Cavalry, there's a portion of Waterdeep's military are Griffin riders that could be there very quickly. You know, you think it's very unlikely he'd go there himself, but you definitely think it's likely he's just going to hire a different adventuring party with a different student from the College of New Olam, and maybe a one that will have less tact and might do it in a bit more of a violent way.
Right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You just notice. Oh,
Ellis just woke up.
yeah, let's hook up. Okay, anyways, I haven't told us that yet, so we'll do it in character. Yeah, I'm gonna we'll look to the other two. Look, I have not met many. I don't think I've met any. I don't remember it. I've met 0 devils, demons, cambions. I mean, Damon, but like, you know, he didn't seem that good. Kind of seemed bad at his job compared to the rest of them, from what I've heard. There was no way he would be nice enough to let us leave them alive if he could do it himself. Why would he waste the time? He's a devil. He'd just do it. There's a reason he's not going. I don't know what it is, but there's something. I mean, it's Waterdeep. Think about what that city is. It's like the heart of the coast. That and Neverwinter. There's a reason he's not going. There's a reason his apprentice isn't going, or whatever she is. But he's going to send someone else. So we can go there and warn them and sending them and protect it, but there is something we don't know about in that city. What I'm trying to say is, your college doesn't, you know, something's gonna come, but, like, we can stop it. I guess so. I forgot her name. He definitely forgot her name. You also forgot it.
Aurora. No.
Aurora. Yeah, there you go.
No, that's the grandmother. Hang on.
She's been dead for
Aurora
about
shop
100 years.
where...
Not Hilari. No, not Hilari. Is it Hilari?
She's an elf.
She's the friend from... What's that face? Yeah.
Hang on. Bear with.
I'll wait.
This is the thing. I don't claim to know them, so it doesn't bother me. It's just them two tried and just got it wrong.
Oh my god, where is it?
Lelio no? Is it Lely or no? Yeah,
Hey.
that's the word which is coming away. Am I right?
Yeah.
Ah.
Is it?
I just can't
Lelino.
pronounce it.
That's it.
You're going to see like
Yes.
the Eartha, you lead the door's locked.
Can I stop him?
Okay, sure. You wind up and Samara kind of flies forward, claw on your chest.
They just started decorating the place. Surely, come on, man. Just unlock a window. Just climb out a window, dude. I walk up to a window and I open a window.
You can. The last time you were here, the windows were boarded up, but the boards have been removed, at least on this ground floor. The window does open. It'll be a squeeze, but it's possible.
Well, I'm the small one, frame-wise. So
And Eartha's wearing heavy metal armor.
I'm gonna turn to the other two and go, I know it's metal, but like still, like all metal's kind of like, you know, they'll squish one way and come out the other, even by the tiniest a bit. Like every object typically does it. Oh yeah, I could just reduce here. You have a slight problem there, Ellis. Oh, I do have it. I have one spell slot left. Yeah, okay. I'll reduce Ellis and I'll just get out. Get out.
You go to cast reduce on Eartha. You begin the chant, begin the casting. But before you complete it, you hear shattering. And you see that you're not sure what she threw, but you see Jade just kind of staring at the window, and you think she might have thrown something at it.
Can I look out the window to see what is outside and what she threw?
Sure. You look outside. You see the goblet that you found in that spring in the woods.
I launch out the window and grab the goblet.
Sure. Yeah, like a vulture going for a carrion, you sweep out and grab it and nestle it up into your robes, and Jade kind of just marches out and climbs through the window until she steps outside, and then she puts her hand out for it.
I'll give it to her.
She puts it in her face hole.
Yeah. She still got her morning star on her? She does, doesn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Is she proficient?
I think so.
Yeah. Right, okay, anyways, yeah. I'll quickly push me and Jade behind somewhere so that it doesn't look like we've smashed the window, just around a building or something.
Sure. Eartha and Anya, you also climbing out.
Mm-hmm.
So, you take a second, more so Anya, because you're not wearing armor, just to make sure you don't get cut on all the jagged glass. Yeah, and again, the chalice, the goblet, is glass as well, but it's a magic item, so it's indestructible by normal means. Yeah, so Samurai, you kind of push Jade into the side alley.
Yeah, I'll turn to Jade and be like, why'd you throw the goblet through the window?
Her helmet just kind of she kind of perks up and her helmet swivels towards you. And she just her helmet swivels back towards where you'd come from, and then back to you, and then she just kind of points at the ground.
We could have got out the building without you smashing a window.
She points at the ground.
Wish there was some way I could get in this stupid head.
Samura, as a practitioner of magic, you are now officially concerned. It was weird when at the spring, the waterfall in the woods, when Jade was acting strange, independent even. But you thought okay, there was, Crypt of Dragons, Unicorn in the Woods, maybe some kind of magical interference. Now you're in a place you've already been, and she's still acting strange, independent, like a child pushing boundaries.
Jade, do you remember last time we were here, and you would quietly follow, and if I asked you to help me with something, you would go and do it?
Kind of looks off into the sky.
Do you feel now that if I asked you to do something, you have to do it, or is it optional?
She looks at the ground.
Nod if it is optional.
She looks at the ground for a while, few beats, and then she kind of really slowly just kind of shrugs. Her helmet kind of shrinks into what you assume is a shrug, but because she's just armor, it is kind of difficult to tell. You don't think it's a coy shrug. You think she's genuinely saying I don't know.
Yeah. Jade, I believe when I first, not to be mean, but you were a purchase. Although I like to treat you as one of our own. But when I first had acquired you, you were made in a way to which you would just do what you were told. But I liked the idea of having you as a friend as well. And I believe throughout this time, I think maybe the unicorn has given you part of its consciousness.
She shrugs.
I don't expect you to fully understand, but I'm happy, if that's the case, for you to become a true friend. Now we should move before you get caught, and try not to destroy anybody else's property.
She nods.
We'll go.
So, where are you guys going? So, Anya, if you catch up in the alley, tell me where you guys would like to go. Are you going straight to Aurora's, or anywhere else first? What's the plan?
Didn't we, when we teleported to Waterdeep last time, didn't we go to Lelianor's flat?
Yes. Well, I think you maybe you didn't go there. She teleported you to Waterdeep with her. Her and Hilary went to her flat, and then you guys went to Anya's aunt's and uncle's house. So sorry, what was happening there? So you guys are. So when Lelianor had teleported you to Waterdeep a couple 10 days ago, she went to her apartment with Hilary, and they'd spent the night there, and then you guys had spent the night with Anya's aunt and uncle in their house, and then you guys returned to Westgate the next day. I think that was for Samura's fight or Eartha's. I can't remember which.
Both on the same day, weren't they?
Oh, they might have been. No. I think you did yours straight away. I think
mine was on a different day, so I had time to prepare, and that's how we lost the key. Because you two were in the audience.
Oh yeah. So you guys are heading to Lelianor's shop, or are you going somewhere else? What's the?
I think just Lelianor's, but can I cast Sending on the way?
Sure.
I want to cast Sending to Icky. I'll say we are heading to Waterdeep. Found my dad. He's okay. It's all really solved. I'll explain when we meet. I miss you.
Okay.
Tell Selu hi.
Few moments. We're in Waterdeep 2. We'll meet at some point. Good to hear from you. Glad you're okay. Selu misses you too.
That's not good. Shit! They're not meant to be there! Cool, yeah. We'll just keep moving.
Actually... No, that's fine. Okay. So you guys are heading to Aurora's Emporium, yeah? Cool. So, being back in Westgate, very similar topography to Suzail, considering it's just on the other side of this, albeit huge, lake, but it's more of an ocean, but very geographically close. But that you're not sure why, but for some reason, just like Westgate feels more like a coastal city than Suzail. Maybe it's because you were out in the countryside a bit when you were in Cormier, but now that you're back in Westgate, like the salt of on the sea breeze, the smell of fish in the market, it might make you feel a little bit sick so suddenly, if you weren't all from, Waterdeep, Port Nyanzaru, Luthachek, if you weren't all from port cities, if it wasn't kind of very core to most of your life, smelling those kind of things here, like being in that kind of environment. So it's almost a bit nostalgic to be back in it after a little while away from it. And yeah, you make your way through the market, the fishmongers, the second-hand dealers set up in this triangular market space with the big watchtower in the middle to make sure no crimes are being committed and what have you. And you see off in the distance Raiko's tower out in the water, that wizard's tower covered in gentle green translucent enchantments of squirrels and butterflies and other woodland creatures that dance up the spiral, which obviously Samura had discovered was the home of a very dead wizard. You walk through the streets, you see the Quivering Thumb off in the distance, the arena. You see crowds moving towards the Quivering Thumb. There might be a match on later. And then you arrive at Aurora's Emporium, at Lelianor's shop. So you guys are outside Aurora's Emporium.
I'll walk straight in.
Sure. You brush in, the bell kind of ding 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 as the door swings open, and you hear some movement. You hear like a thud, and after a few moments, Lelianor's head kind of perks out of the side room, which is like half storage room, potion circle room, and she kind of and she kind of scutters back out behind the counter and kind of swirls around the side. She's like, it's been a little while. I didn't think you guys were coming back so soon. Is everything okay? How have you been?
Sometimes dying. Most of the time, fine.
That's good.
We managed to sort out most of the stuff we had over there, I guess. Nothing comes to mind. I think that's why we came back. But to cut the story short, we need to get to Waterdeep.
I can take you to Waterdeep if you want to go. Do you want to go now, or do you want to go later? Or?
We were hoping you would take us. Thank you for the offer. I'm not entirely sure on when exactly, but it'll definitely be like latest the next few days.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm in Westgate every day. My Waterdeep stores aren't doing too hot, so I'm in Westgate most of the time. If I'm not, just shoot me a message and I'll be here whenever.
I'll turn to the other two. When are we going exactly? Is it just as soon as possible, or are we?
Probably better we get set up there quicker rather than later.
Right. I'll turn back to Lelianor and just say like, I guess it's decided as soon as possible. But like, I don't want to hassle you, and I presume it's like the middle of a working day.
It is, but doesn't look like there's been a lot of people in.
All right. I'll just say out with a courtesy, like, if you want to wait until like the end of the working day, we can do that, obviously. But you've got to make money. If you want any help around here in that meantime as well, we're happy to help.
Samura, make a perception check.
7.
7. Eartha, make a perception check.
Definitely about to go bust.
23.
23. Samura was a bit busy giving it beak. When you walked in, there was a little flash of light. Just from like the corner of the room, there was a little flash of light. Not like it was something like behind you, so like you didn't notice it until it was like a little flash pulsed, and you kind of looked, and it was gone.
Do you have magic? Do you have magic let people know when you come in and out of the shops?
I have a bell.
Is that what that flash was when we came in?
I didn't see it flash.
Can I turn around to Eartha and go, well, there's only one way to know. Are you certain you saw it, Eartha?
Yes?
Then there's only one way to make sure somebody's telling the truth. And I'll look at you without saying a word.
Oh, okay, I get what
You know
mean.
I'm here, right?
Can you cast see invisibility?
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you meant zone of truth on
That's
Earth.
what
and
I was
like,
getting
tell
at.
the truth.
Oh!
Anya, you don't have to. Anya, you'll see him. I think see invisibility lasts for an hour. I think.
Yeah, and I still had it from.
Yeah, so you'll still have it up. Your eyes kind of briefly cloud over again, and you look around. Everything looks normal.
Okay.
You know I can hear you, right?
Yeah, I mean, she was just saying if something invisible was there. I mean, there could have been, like, literally like a murder. You seen the world
Yeah,
we
but
live in?
then he said something about making me tell the truth. I can hear you.
Me? What?
No, I said finding out the truth. That doesn't mean you've inherently lied. That just, if you are unaware, then I'd still prefer to be safe than not safe.
Okay, there was a flash of light, and she kind of waves her hands again, and she casts a spell, and you turn around, and you see Eartha and Samura standing in the corner of the room with a floating plaque. They're not like physical, like they are very clear. They're more like, imagine like a hologram. They're kind of like semi-translucent Eartha and Samura's, kind of like arms around the shoulder, kind of like a buddy pose, and then like a floating plaque in front that says champions of the quivering thumb, and then open quotation mark, this is our favorite store, close quotation mark.
Oh, we're advertisement.
I just didn't want to. I was gonna ask you about it the next time you came, and I was gonna ask you about it now that you were here. I didn't want it to look weird.
It's perfectly fine.
Great.
You have the shape.
I'd say that makes us even. You've helped us out a bunch. We haven't really done too much for you. Feel free to use us for advertisement.
Then that sounds very profitable, like a very profitable friendship. Thank you very much.
Why are we so buddy?
Well, it wouldn't look great if you were. And then she kind of looks at it. What if you were gonna fight? And she waves her hand again, and now you're like Civil War style, like Mortal Kombat, like in a combat pose, looking like you're about to get into a fight.
That's a bit better.
Yeah, but what about that teleporting thing? Now, end of the day, so that you can finish working. What's best for you?
I mean, I can. She like quickly looks out the window. I can take you now, or if there's anything else you want to do in Westgate, I can take you later. I don't mind.
I guess now it is, unless anybody has any objections.
No.
Yeah, sure. Let me just. Okay. And she kind of jots forward, and she kind of clicks the bell out to the side and locks the door, pushing some stuff across. Tries the handle to make sure it's closed, and she draws some of the curtains. She turns a sign that says closed and draws some of the curtains quickly before she rushes back into the teleportation room, and you hear some shifting and pushing, and she's like, "Okay, yeah, come through."
Did we close the door?
Yes.
God.
And as you guys come in, she's just kind of moved. You see some of the storage was kind of spilling onto the teleportation circle, but she's kind of pushed it back a bit. And she's like, okay, I mean, how do I... Okay, she kind of clutches a necklace. Looks like a locket, a closed locket, gold, like a silver chain and then a gold locket. She kind of clutches it in her left hand, and she begins to cast teleportation circle as she kind of bends down and traces a bit of the circle with her hand. And much like the last few times you have used the teleportation circle, when Hilari teleported you here, and then Lelianor teleported you to Waterdeep, and then when she teleported you back here, your vision kind of pastes over white as you teleport to Waterdeep, and we'll end there for this week.